China is now posing an immediate threat to us here in the United States, and this is causing a huge panic. Millions and millions of Americans have been warned that the Chinese are a threat to the United States and they will wreak havoc on our infrastructure. But the FBI has also come out and said that the Chinese are a threat to the United States because they are coming into the United States. I want to break down what's going on. I want to tell you the numbers, why there's more Chinese nationals entering into the United States, and why many say that the people that are coming in and we are allowing into the U.S., they are a serious threat. So I will address that in just a moment. All I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead and hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So over the past handful of months, we have been hearing reports and stories and seeing numbers of more Chinese nationals entering into the U.S. But it's not just into Texas anymore. California and Arizona are both seeing a surge in Chinese migrants. But I want to explain how many more people are entering into the United States. So here are the numbers that we have so far. In 2021, in the entire United States, we encountered 342 Chinese migrants that entered into the United States. 342. Those were illegally entered. Okay? In 2022, we saw 2,000 or more. So in 2021, 342. 2022, a little bit over 2,000. In 2023, this is the fiscal year, not calendar year. So it goes from October through September. In 2023, we saw 24,000. So far in the fiscal year 2024, we do not have the exact numbers, but reports indicate we are a little bit over 10,000 illegal immigrants that are Chinese nationals. Now here's the problem. You need to understand who these people are. You need to understand their age. Okay? You need to understand whether they're male or female, where they're coming up with family, or are they individuals? Well, here's what we know. According to these reports, the majority of these people are military-age men. And when they're vetted, the majority of them are traveling alone, not with family, okay? Not with anybody that they know. They're just traveling alone. Many people say they have no family inside the United States. But, again, these are the people that are vetted. When they're asked, why are they traveling alone and to the United States? Most of them say they want to get away from the Chinese power. They also are saying that it's because of the current state of the Chinese economy. They are very worried that there will not be much for them back in China. Now, I want to read you a statement. This is from Mark Green. He's a Republican. He's the chair of the House Homeland Security Committee. He had this to say this past week, and I quote, "My committee has been informed that some of these Chinese nationals have even been found to be affiliated with the People's Liberation Army and the CCP. And those are just the ones we've been able to vet. But there's no way for our brave men and women on the front lines of this crisis to adequately vet all of them before being effectively forced to release them into the United States." Here's the thing with that statement. It doesn't matter, okay, what our policies are. And again, this is the problem. This is why many lawmakers are saying we need a policy change. We also need additional funding, okay? And I will address the funding crisis in a moment. But here's the reason why we need a policy change. What we have been doing here in the United States, we go and apprehend these people that come into the U.S. We vet them and ask them, what are you doing here? Okay, where do you come from? What's your name, right? Those are pretty much the just standard questions. But then when it comes to actually holding them, we can't hold them. We can't hold them because we don't have the space, we don't have the resources, we don't have the agents to hold them. So what we are doing is we ask them these questions, we fingerprint them, we put them in the system, and then say, okay, off you go. Enjoy our great country. Well, that's turning into a problem. But according to recent reports, there are roughly 16,000 border agents at the U.S. southern border. Keep in mind there's only about 18,000 total agents, which means there's 2,000 that are covering the northern border. Okay? But here's what experts say is concerning. In order to adequately resolve this problem and end it, we would need close to 25,000 border agents to protect and apprehend illegal immigrants. That is the issue. So we have currently 18,000. We need another 7,000 down at the U.S. southern border. That's about 30% of what we currently have. So how are we going to get that many? Well, here's the issue. Currently, the Biden administration and Border Patrol are willing to offer a kind of a bonus of $30,000 for people to come and apply for their positions. A bonus of $30,000. That's what we're willing to offer for people to come in and go and protect our border. Well, that's the funding crisis. We cannot offer people a massive bonus to go and help protect our border. Why? Because we don't have the money. Where's that money going to come from? And this is what lawmakers have been fighting for, is how are we going to get the funding? And once we get the funding, what are we going to pay for? Because once we secure the funding, here's the issue. Now all the lawmakers come out of the woodwork and say, oh, well, we now have $100 billion. Well, let's not go and hire 7,000 new border agents. No, we can't do that. What we need to do is hire 1,000. We'll take the rest of the money and we'll cover this and we'll cover that, and we will go and provide additional food, and we'll put more shelter in places so the illegal immigrants coming in, well, they have a place to stay and we know where they're at. Do you see the issue here? It doesn't matter if it's just funding, but what experts say is we have to start with policy changes. The first thing we need to do is lock down the entire border. Nobody comes in. And once they do that, according to these experts, once you lock down the border and say nobody comes in, guess what? Then as you start seeing this big group of people on the southern part of the U.S. border, guess what? It keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You put military in front and say, no, you can't come in, right? And then as it gets so big, it's going to make the news all over the United States, all over Mexico, all over Central America, all over South America, all over China and other countries that the United States is serious. You cannot come in. And then guess what happens? After all those people are panicked and now they're stuck in this large group and who knows what happens, eventually they get the hint and they start going back to their own country. Slowly but steadily they start going back. That's where experts say we are headed. Here's the issue. If we start to see tens of thousands of people start to emerge upon the U.S. southern border, guess what? Military is going to show up. National Guard will be right there to confront them. Well, guess what? If we see 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 people line the U.S. border just waiting to get across, guess what that does? It increases the risks associated with the border. It increases the risks for National Guard troops. It will likely stop and prevent any shipments going through the U.S. southern border. That could be devastating to our economy. That could cause a little bit of a war. That could cause multiple losses of life down at the U.S. southern border, whether it's on the U.S. side or the Mexico side. We don't know. But again, it's just the start of the problems. This is why experts say, and this is why the FBI warns, it is far from over. It's just beginning. And again, this is going to get worse before it ever gets better. So that's what we know at this time. Again, as soon as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. That is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.